won't you please?
We're who you should be listening to, admit it. The prettiest Tiff in Carolina, get it? Love, family, and friends, this be the energy, a better understanding so we can all be complete. Each time spitting raw and unrehearsed, either in your feelings or laughing till it hurts. Love and Flaws, the show that you all need. Join us every week for the best of us, guaranteed.
Here we go.
Yo, welcome to the Love and Flaws podcast, take 2. And I say take 2 because me and Tiff was recording for about 15. No, my bad. Actually, we wasn't. That's the point. We was going for about 15 minutes before I looked. Because I keep, for y'all know, I have the program on my side. So I set it up, play the intro, all that good stuff. And there's a timer that's usually up here at the left hand of the screen. So I check it periodically to make sure that we try not to go over an hour. I want it to be cool for everybody to watch it, on their lunch break, on the way home to work, whatever, easy to catch up, all of that. So I'm Tiff full blown in the middle of a story. And I'm looking and I'm like, where we at? Man, where's the timer at? Now I look down at the bottom screen, the record button is still. What y'all didn't hear the first time that we got to repeat. We tired. Today we both were just tired. Man, I can't even believe I did that.
Listen, it's all good. But this is what I like about it, because hopefully the people that support us will continue to support us, and you'll be able to see how we grow. And hopefully with time, this platform will give us extra ways to navigate and not be doing 50 things at once. It's nothing wrong with doing 50 things at once, but sometimes you got to stop and hone in and, put some things in the box and, but listen, it's real. It happens. My run is crooked today. It is what it is.
Y'all with us. Y'all day ones too. And we appreciate y'all. I said this is the first go round. Everybody that's been sticking with us, been watching. We appreciate y'all. We can't do this. We not doing this without y'all. We got a loyal following right now. Listen, we are staying, we doing it, and we going to the top. And I'm gonna be hyped to have y'all with us when we get there, because man, it's gonna be a movie at that point, and we'll be giving back and all kind of stuff. So
absolutely, I definitely want to use this platform for us to be able to give back and to do big things in the community. And so yeah, we gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
It was the wine. I'm sorry, y'all.
Anybody who is a true wine connoisseur, if you start drinking wine while you are tired,
oh boy,
you just get even more tired. Like, it relaxes you to the point where you're like, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. So we got a good one, y'all. We got a good one, y'all. I'm about to repeat some of the stuff I said before, but we got a good one. A lot of people go through this. Hopefully, oh man, we talked about. All right. We're gonna get focused, man. So, and those who are not going through this, hopefully you don't have to. Hopefully your marriages and your families stay solid and good to go, and it's good. But we're talking about blended families. So keep in mind, even though your family may not be blended, there is a possibility that maybe one day in the future you might have to deal with it, so you can still listen is all I'm saying, right? You can get some perspective. So we talked about what a blended family is, and it matters. There's a child involved, and both of the people in the relationship are not the parents of that child. One is not. Now there could be multiple kids involved. Tiff got kids, I got kids, and we are both not with their prospective parents. So that's what we're talking about with a blended family. We had talked about the Brady Bunch. We didn't know if the
we
Brady
found out. What did we find out?
Because I didn't watch it, so I didn't know. But at least the dad was a widower.
Right.
I believe the mom probably was a widow. I imagine. I don't know. Because we were talking about we never saw like other extended, like if you have a blended family, you understand that uncles and cousins, like you talk about it, you're like, oh, that's your daddy's cousin, that's your mama's this, whatever.
Right.
And I never, through the Brady Bunch being a cultural iconic type of show, I've seen a lot of snippets and stuff, but I never saw, no uncles on your mama's side come through and stuff like that. So that's what got us into looking into that. But we were at the point where we were talking about it being harder. Stipulations. Man, we talked about so much. Kicking
Listen, it's
right
okay.
now.
So we talked about that, and then so we were talking about, initially we were talking about like what is a good time frame to kind of introduce that. And that was just kind of like our segue to kind of talk through it. But at the end of the day, we really want to talk about and focus on once you do become a blended family and the difficulties that both parents have to overcome. And I was saying that it's harder for the mom.
Okay, yeah. Before you because you were about to tell the story. So I had said that it's easier for me because I am not the primary custodial parent of my daughter, right? Or both the girls, right? So it's harder for my kid's mom because they're there every day. Whereas for me, it's a little easier to navigate because my kid ain't with me all the time. So I was saying that the same would go for dads if they were the primary custodian. And Tiff was like, nah, I think they could give them.
Stop.
What happened?
The Brady Bunch theory. Mike and Carol Brady murdered each other's spouses.
Man, stop it, Tiff.
And that's the way they all became the Brady Bunch.
Yo, this is gonna be a clip. I'm using this one.
That's a theory they say. The internet is undefeated.
You watching too much Lifetime Movie Network.
The internet is undefeated. This isn't Tiff. This ain't Pretty Tiff. This is the internet.
Man.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I want to try to see what happened to Carol's husband.
Right.
Show of our seasons canceled. But it never.
Yeah, I didn't see nothing when I was looking for it.
Case in point, harder for my dad. I don't even want to talk about the dad when he's dead.
Here we go. But Tiff was saying that her boys gave her hell and they wouldn't do that to their daddy. And I was like, the boys are probably more protective. Like, I feel like Nevaeh would probably give somebody, because Nevaeh she's older. She'll let me know. And so I was saying the boys are more protective over their mama. So I think that matters too, the dynamics. If it's boy, mom, boy, dad, daughter, mom, daughter, dad, I think that plays in. But Tiff was about to tell the story because she was like, nah, that ain't the case. So what happened, Tiff? What's going on?
So I'm gonna have to start from the beginning.
Right.
So basically my daughter's father, after we split up some years later, he ended up, now a little backstory, when my daughter was like around 8 or 9, I think we kind of like talked about this on another podcast. She got to this age where she wanted to go live with her daddy, right?
Right. She was ready.
Right. And I think part of that was because I had remarried. I was with somebody. You know, my daughter's father and I stayed together till she was about 5, roughly.
Okay.
As far as like him being in the household, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I ended up getting remarried a little bit later than that. A couple years later, she was like, maybe like a year, really. She was like, or 2, she was like, I want to go live with my dad, Bet whatever. She gave me, after that, she didn't give me any, but she was giving me a hard time at that point. Now, her dad, now granted, he didn't get remarried, but he was in a relationship with a woman. And the backstory to this woman is I didn't like her. Now, I never told my daughter that. Her daddy knew that I didn't like her, and I didn't like her because she was disrespectful at my son's football game one time and I almost had to whip her ass.
Right.
So
now tell the whole story too, though, because this will spin the block back.
Right. So the thing is, with my ex-husband, he had dated this woman back when they were in like high school, prior to me. Okay. Right. So he had to play touchback, get back, whatever you want to call it, hopscotch. You know what I'm saying?
This sounds like
he
some
did the moonwalk,
acrimony.
and he ended up being with this woman again. So I go like get my daughter because he used to, you know, get her like summer, all that stuff. Like he was definitely involved in her life. So I go to like get her one time and she's like, Mommy, Daddy has a girlfriend. And I was like, oh, he does? Well, what is her name? Yeah. And I wasn't asking for any other reason. Like, okay, like what is her name? Like,
right.
What
just trying to know. Right.
He hadn't told me yet, but he knew not to tell me who it was because he knew I was gonna be upset about it. But anyway,
Tiff on her acrimony right now.
I just ain't like the girl. So anyway, so my daughter's like, yeah, you know, Dad has a new girlfriend. We went to her job. She works at the mall, and she got me got me some jewelry. And so I'm like, well, let me see the jewelry. I said, okay.
What was wrong with what was wrong with the jewelry?
Thought doesn't count. So I call my baby daddy.
Wait, what was the jewelry?
It was just like some like rinky dink like
some Claire's.
It wasn't even as nice as Claire's. It was like something you would get like at the flea market or something. You know what I'm saying? It was like some 99-cent type, like, yeah. So, and anyone who knows me, I'm a jewelry person. Like, I love jewelry.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let me see the jewelry. So I'm like, you know, I roll my eyes. I'm like, oh, well, that was so nice. I'm pretty sure she could probably see that I was rolling my eyes, you know. But I was like, oh, that was so nice. Did you make sure you said thank you? And, you know, she's like, yes. So I was like, all right. I called her daddy. I said, let me tell you something. Now, I still didn't know who the girl was because my daughter kept saying she didn't remember the woman's name.
Okay.
So I called him. I said, before I even ask who it is, you tell whatever girl you dealing with, she buy my daughter jewelry. She need to buy her some real jewelry.
Tiff. Mean girl Tiff.
I was just joking. I swear. Like I was.
No, you wasn't.
I was. No, I was. I'm just not the type. Like I'm not gonna buy somebody jewelry if it's not. Like if I buy you a piece of jewelry, it's gonna be some jewelry. I bought French jewelry.
They say that all jokes have a hint of truth in them.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you where probably the truth you can hear in my voice, because then once when I found out who it was, that made that shit that much more. I was like, oh, so you trying to get my daughter some cheap shit? That's where that probably truth is coming in, because after I found out who it was, but anyway, the moral of the story is my daughter didn't give them any hell. Like, oh, I love her. She's great. Oh, daddy, you're still, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. There was no issue. There was no like, nothing. Case in point, my boy's father, he with a woman, been with her for probably about 10 years. No, not that long. Maybe about 7 years at this point. She's a hater. She's insecure. She's a whole lot of stuff, right? Okay. I've even tried to be like, listen, you are welcome. You know what I'm saying? Around me, like with my kids, like they're going to respect you. But she is nasty. She's a very mean-spirited person, right? She don't want him to be involved in his kid's life at all. You think they give him hell over that?
They out there.
They don't want to say nothing. They might talk to me, and that's cool because I'm their mama. So we're gonna have certain conversations. But it's like if that was a dude I was dealing with that was acting like that, y'all be ready to burn whole Fayetteville, North Carolina down. And they've done that. So I think it has nothing to do with who's the primary custodial parent. I just think boys and girls, period, are not going to give their dad. And I was a product of, my father got married like 4 times.
Right.
And I hated all of his wives. All of
them.
So
I will give you this. I
never said nothing to my dad.
I pointed out on part 1A of this that didn't get recorded properly.
1A.
That I have witnessed it personally because I'm friends with other single dads. You know what I mean? I have witnessed dads go through the exact same thing. But I will stipulate that if it is easier on the dads, it's because what we talk about all the time, they are usually the disciplinarians. So it may not be because they want to be easier on them. They more scared of their dad than they are their mama. And I don't mean scared from like a super bad vantage point. I'm just saying the dad's usually the disciplinarian, so they not about to talk reckless to their dad or around their dad's friend because they know he gonna get their ass. You know what I mean?
And listen, and I agree with that assumption. Yeah. But either way, it's harder for the woman.
I might could give you that. I just know I've seen it. I've seen dads get held too. Because especially girls, like I'm saying, because y'all know how to give other women hell better.
But see, and maybe when they're older, but I even remember like being around my dad and his wives, and maybe that was just because who I was as a child. Like I didn't feel like I could speak up to my dad. Even though my mother and dad weren't together, she always was like, that's your dad, be respectful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when my mother got married to my stepfather, I gave my mama hell. Like I did that whole thing. I want to go live with my dad in 8th grade. It literally took 3 months. And I was like, I want to come back home. And my stepdad, I remember me calling my mama crying. And he was like, what's wrong with her? And she was like, she wants to come home. And he was like, we want a way to get her. And I was living in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Okay.
Where Virginia Tech is. And I remember my stepfather saying to my mom, like I could hear them talking, and my stepdad was like, make sure he don't bring his ass out that house. My stepfather didn't play. My stepfather was a white guy who, now you want to talk about blended families, right? So I'm biracial, right? My dad is black, my mom is white. Same as my brothers. We all come from the same mother and father. My mother, when my father remarried, he always remarried an African-American woman. My mom, when she remarried the one time she did, it was to a white male.
Right.
Suspenders, tattoo of a naked woman on him. But he ain't play. Like he did not, like he was a country boy. But he was that good old time country, like I'll whoop your ass, I don't care what color you are. And I don't care about color. I don't play that. Right. So when we would go out, like if it was me, my mom, and my 3 brothers with my mom and my stepdad, people would be like, wait, did they just kidnap these damn kids? Like you would see people looking at us like, oh, they gotta be adopted. You know what I'm saying? Now when we were with my dad, we didn't get those types of looks.
I used to get those looks with Nevaeh when she was younger. Cause Nevaeh real life. Yeah, right. Cause I'm only half black.
Right.
But Nevaeh real, I don't know, Nevaeh mama, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But so Nevaeh is real light. And so I swear there was a couple of times like I was preparing myself on the inside to deal with this Karen or whoever was about to be like, yo, is that your I can't clearly remember. I feel like I got asked once though. But then
I'm
then I'm
sure.
like, maybe I didn't because I feel like I'd have flipped the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they might have said it in a subtle way.
Maybe,
Yeah.
right. But I'm trying to remember.
But that's another great point, because when you talk about blended families, not only do you have to deal with the emotional and the mental side of it, especially if it's parents from different races. That's a whole nother layer that I don't care, but society, unfortunately, there are people out here that care.
Boy, do they.
So that's just like a whole nother.
And let me be perfectly clear. I am not talking about, we know white people care. But when I tell you that the black and natives care, oh my God. I got a homeboy, right? So for those who don't know as well, my grandmother's full native, right? So my grandmother was native and my grandfather was white, and so my mom is half native, half white, and my dad is black. I grew up with my grandmother, and so I was around a lot of my native family. I got a homeboy that's native, and he was dating a black chick. We kind of getting off subject, but like when he would bring her around, the hate, I have experienced more racism from natives than I have white people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that one group is more hateful to the other or not more hateful to the other. Like we know what people have done in the past. I'm just saying in my everyday life, I see it from black people too. But the worst ones I ever saw was natives. Now, in some aspect, I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? They took their land, they put them on reservations, they want to stick. I mean, no hate is acceptable, right? Like no bigotry or hate is acceptable. But like sometimes you understand what pushed people to that point.
Well, you understand where it comes from.
Right. You understand. You're right. You understand where it comes from. But
it doesn't mean to forge.
And when I used to go to powwows and Lumbee gatherings and stuff, folks used to look at me like,
"What is he doing?
You outsider." My cousins
and stuff. About Native Americans.
My cousins and stuff, we was always ready. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew we might have to get into it. So it's tough.
So then that just brings a whole nother dynamic to it. And if you're not
like if you're gonna do the blended
your family,
if you're gonna do the blended family, you gotta take that into consideration. Listen, I remember when I was younger, hearing conversations about, when people talking about dating outside of their race, like what your kids might have to put up with and go through, right? So that does add layers to it. But it's funny you talk about that. Like we both as well having kids, and we would be dealing with blended family stuff. Now I grew up in a blended family, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't never knew my dad. My mom's boyfriend's dope. You know what I'm saying? I like him. They've been together like 12 years. My grandmother, the grandfather, now I don't like him now because what he did while she was sick and passing, but he had been my grandfather from the time I was 4.
Yeah.
So he's the only grandfather I ever knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he was black. So the exposure I got to black family was through him and his mama loved me to death. Had pictures of me. Like we talk about blended family, right? She had pictures of me up on the wall with all her other grands and great grands and stuff like that. It's a beautiful thing when it works.
Right. Well, and that's a great segue because I think those are one of the things that make it work, right? Is making sure
because I'm sorry. It seems like it's always one end of the spectrum to the other, right?
Absolutely.
It's either like how my family has always been. We got every race, color, we got people we take in. Everybody welcome. That's one of the traits I got from my grandmother. I take people in. I'm trying to look. I'm a protector. I feel like I really got it from my mama and my grandmother, right? You know what I'm saying? And part of that is taking people in,
Right.
Or it's so bad that it makes the couple miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so bad. Like, the other, and not even just about race. Like, it's just like you said, nobody on the family accepts them, right? Especially if you was married for like 10, 20 years or something. That spouse is part of the family now.
Right.
So now you bringing somebody else around? Nah, they not family. You've seen it too?
That's the part that irks me with people. Because at the end of the day, we are adults. We are adults. Listen, I'm probably not going to like every woman just as well as they're not going to like, hopefully the next man that I truly am with is going to be my forever. And even though my kids are grown, my kids are a huge part of my life. I party with my kids. I laugh with my kids. I cry with my kids. I get serious with my kids. I, learn from my kids. I teach my kids.
She really
my
do,
kids
y'all.
are
she really
always in my life. And I don't care if they're 50 and I find my forever and I'm 85. You have got to be able to accept my children as your own, or we are not going to work.
Right. Like husband
people
7
get in their heads like, I ain't gotta accept, that's your children's mother. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, right now, okay, I'm gonna share this. My son was turning, I think it was his 16th birthday. I want to say 16th birthday, either 16th or 17th birthday, one of the two. I said, okay, because all of our family is back in Maryland. All of our family, right? From his father's side to my side to his extended father's side. Like, everybody is still in Maryland. So I said, listen, son.
Be more.
I'm a throw you a party back home. Right? I said, we're going to do it in a neutral place. We're not going to do it in Baltimore because we got people that live in a place called Columbia. We got people that live in Anne Arundel County, which is, so what we're going to do is we're going to do it in a mutual zone,
right,
where it's like halfway for everybody. I'm going to throw you a birthday party so you can be around all of your family.
Right.
Because I knew that was important to my son.
Okay.
So I invited my sons. And we'll get into like how all of this works. I'm just going to say it and y'all gonna be like, what? So his biological father's family was there, were invited. His father's family, whom he was adopted by, but that is his father.
Okay.
His family was invited. My daughter's family, her dad, grandmom, because they consider him part of their family, was invited. And my family. Right?
Right.
So my son's father's girlfriend was like, so she got both of her baby daddies here and y'all just cool with that? I said, yo, I'm gonna beat the brakes off of her. Like, I'm gonna end up beating the brake. Like, and he didn't tell me this till after, of course. He wasn't gonna tell me during my son's birthday.
Right.
But my thing is, people are so ignorant. Why wouldn't we all come together? At the end of the day, you have to think about the love you had for that child. The love that you, even though that relationship didn't work out, there was a time where we loved each other. There was a time that we was, this is gonna be my forever. Why do people have to be so ignorant? Just because we're all together don't mean that I'm gonna leave here and go have a threesome with these two.
People are childish, right? Like,
and they're selfish.
You're in that jealousy, possessive stage still when you're an adult. Now, I mean, I'm not trying to excuse it, but like, we see it. You see people who don't let go, who don't quit dealing with their baby mamas and their baby daddies.
Right.
So that that plays a part into it, but you still got to be adult enough. Listen, I've gone through it, right? So speaking, I remember. So my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's not biologically mine, right? But that's my baby girl. She knows her dad's side of the family and everything, and that's cool. Listen. If you think I'll put a hole in you over Nevaeh, I'm gonna put 2 holes in you over her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's my baby girl. Even though we don't always see eye to eye sometimes, but like when she was younger, when she was at that stage where, they hear and repeat everything. So Nevaeh, she heard Nevaeh calling me daddy, and so she started calling me daddy. Right. And we had to talk. Georgina, she swears I wasn't okay with it at first, but I don't remember it that way. And anybody that knows me feels like, come on, y'all know me better than that. Because I was like, I remember we was FaceTiming, and I'm talking to both of them, and she just out of the blue is like, daddy, and I'm like, what, baby? And she's like, I'm sorry that my daddy didn't want me. And I was just like, I'm not. Fuck him. I love you. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, soul crushing at that moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, I was cool with it. So I started dating one of my high school sweethearts. That we was high school sweethearts, and then went our separate ways. She got married, divorced, got 2 kids. I was living with her and the 2 kids. Like, again, blended family, just going everywhere, right?
Yeah.
She hated that Cadence would call me daddy.
Yeah.
Hated it.
That is retarded.
That is
retarded. That's retarded. She's retarded. Like, that's
hated it.
But this is the thing.
Because hold on, let me go into what her reason.
I'm
right?
sorry.
So,
go ahead.
She was like, she thought it would have been different if Cadence was older than Nevaeh. Like, I came in and was dating her, then had Nevaeh, so it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, but she couldn't understand how, if we're split up before Cadence is ever even born, how now that a kid comes into the picture, how that kid's calling me dad.
She's and I was ignorant.
Like, completely 1000%. That was
and if she's a mother, she's probably a shitty mother.
She wasn't that. I can't say that.
Well, I'm saying it. You probably was a shitty mama, because no mother, and that's what I'm saying. You got it. These are mothers that do this shit. Right. Mothers, where if it was your child, though, I guarantee you would feel totally different. But you don't want to feel like somebody has up on you. Right.
It's like when hunter animals protect other baby, like a lion protect a baby antelope or something. You know what I mean? It's an instinct thing, right? So that's the one when we met. That's the same one. The same one with the whole car, all of that. You know what I'm saying?
I've been like, I'm packing my brother's shit and he coming to stay with me. Tyler was like, what the fuck?
She couldn't stand, and I was just like, I'm not. And it was one of them things I stood my ground on. I was just like, I'm not.
Well, and that's I'm great. You finished that, and I wasn't trying to cut you off, brother. That it angers me, right? But I think that is to another great point about blended families, that the adults have to stand, the people in the relationship and the other party, right? The other parent has to stand their ground with certain things, right? So you have to have those conversations with your partner. Listen, if you can't accept my children and you can't accept everything that comes to them, because now, so in my perfect happy world, what I would like to do is be friends with whomever my children's father decides to be with. Now, I'm not saying we got a kiki kid and but if I come into town to bring, you know, the kids or whatever, or we're having a family barbecue, I want you to be there. And I want us to be able to at least sit down and share a glass of wine and laugh and look at be like, look at his dumb ass over there. Girl, I know he do that with you. Cause you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But nothing behind it, just to be able to build some type of relationship. Or if
to
I'm
coexist.
Right. Like, okay, me and my daughter, her father, if he finds a girlfriend, like, okay, Trent, we going to see dad. Because I walk into my daughter father house. I don't knock on no doors. I walk in, hi, like.
You can't do that if he start dating somebody.
Listen, I'm not saying walk in his bedroom door.
No, you can't just, if it's their house. If it's their house.
Oh, no, I would never do that if they were just living together.
Gotcha.
No, I would, listen, I'm not disrespectful. I would never do that. But I want us to be able to, you know, we come in and we about to go get some Petties and Manny's. Girl, you want to come?
Right.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with that, but it's people out here that feel like that is so absurd. And I don't get it.
My kid's mom has always been like, I'd love for us to be able to, exactly what you're talking about. Like, she's all, I ain't never been for it though. I ain't never, I'm growing into it. And listen, and I ain't never wanted her back. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't that. I just was like,
you ever heard the saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer?
I feel
now, I'm not saying that the person that she brings in is your enemy, but what I'm saying is for you to be able to control and have that say so still,
I feel that way now. So here's the thing though. Here's the other part of it. I've told this story to people close to me. I don't know that I'm gonna say it on Facebook, or not Facebook, but on the podcast. Me and my kid's mom get along just fine. We hardly ever talk though, right? Like we every like couple of months we might, hey, how are you okay? You doing all right? Type of thing. When I'm there, like we get along fine. We even joke and laugh a little bit.
Right.
We don't spend no extended amount of time together. This past trip, I was waiting on Nevaeh had went somewhere with her friends. And I was waiting for her to get back. And I spent about an hour sitting there talking to my kid's mom. That was probably the longest amount of time we spent together in like 5 years. Well, maybe at a game or something, like at one of her games,
right?
Maybe longer, but like that's the longest we spent interacting.
That's
now
ridiculous.
I have a reason. There is a reason why.
Why?
I'm not gonna say that on here. When we get done, I'll tell you.
Really? That's what we doing?
I mean, because I don't want to paint my kid's mom in a bad light.
Oh, okay.
So people can say, oh, she must have did something. She did, but we passed it enough to where we coexist. We're good. Like, but there's a part of me, and people are gonna be like, oh, he still loves her. Absolutely not. You do me dirty.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't.
And I get that, but then you're no longer making it about Nevaeh. You're making about how you feel about her.
Right.
And
but
that's
now,
the problem.
Having said that, like the partner that I liked and got along with, we did birthdays and holiday, like, and me and my kid's mom's whole family is good. Like, if I call my kid and her grandfather's there, I'm like, hey, good, put him on the phone, let me talk to him real quick. You know what I mean? Like, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to just be to the point where I'm just like if she wasn't my kid's mom, like it's to it. Again, I ain't trying to sully my kid. I'm not look, my kid's mom.
Right. No, I mean I get it, but
she's an amazing mom.
Point.
She's an amazing mom, and what she did was to me. It had nothing to do with. I mean, it did, but it was a violation of our relationship. You know what I'm saying? And
again, though, baby, that has nothing to do with Nevaeh.
But we don't, and I don't let it affect me that way. Like I'm cool.
But you do, and I'm gonna tell you why. People think that. Let me tell you, the only way that you could truly co-parent and all of this stuff, people be out here, you ain't got to talk to your child's parent. Yes, the fuck you do. Because I'm going to tell you something. Yes, you do. And I'm going to tell you why. Children do not do the same thing with both sets of parents.
That's true.
They don't.
That's true.
They don't.
Now,
my daughter
hold on. Before you go, like we talk, like we have, she might not even know I still feel this way because we've been good for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like.
But how much better could y'all be? And I'm not saying y'all are bad, but what I'm saying is,
I still do things
the one thing that my mama told me, and I should have listened to her. You have to pick who you have children with because they are forever in your life. Right?
I could not have picked a better person.
Okay, so therefore, but you turning around and telling me that an hour conversation is the longest time that you had a conversation with her in the past, how old is Nevaeh? 16?
She's 16.
16 years, or y'all split when she was 1, so 15 or whatever it is.
I said that's probably the longest conversation we've had in a couple of years.
Okay, a couple of years. Since she did what she did?
So, no. She did what she did before Nevaeh was born.
So were you talking to her after that then?
What do you mean?
Okay, let me ask you this. If she did it way before she was born.
No, I didn't say way before. But
okay, she did it before Nevaeh was born though.
Yeah.
You decided to stay with her.
No, we
now, brother, you might not like me after this conversation.
No.
I love you.
Well, I want to tell. All right,
stop. No. Just listen. But so after you stayed with her, you had a child.
No, I'm correcting you. That's not accurate though. I didn't stay with her.
But she said she did it before Nevaeh was born.
She did it. I just don't want to. I can't. Let's have the rest of this let's have the rest of that specific conversation off camera.
Okay. The point that I'm making to you though is this is the problem. I have love for both of my children's father. Okay, all of my children. There's 2 of them. I have love for both of them. My boy's father and my daughter's father. Okay. I'm not in love with them.
Right.
I don't feel no romantic feelings toward them. None of that. But and I'm not gonna lie, my boy's father, that situation is changing because he's allowing someone to come in and dictate how we parent our kids. And I don't, because I would never let nobody do that.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
And so now there's a lack of respect. But the point that I'm trying to make, if 2 people who were in love, in a relationship, married, not married, whatever, decide to go apart for whatever the reason is, when you grow up, you have to separate what happened in your relationship as opposed to the children. Yes. And as long as you keep that tunnel vision, yeah, he ain't shit. Yeah, she ain't shit.
I don't even feel that.
Cheated, whatever it is.
I don't even feel that way.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just talking in general because the issue is that people come in. Because I even talked to my son's father's girlfriend one time, and she was like, "I just don't understand how y'all could have, hated each other, but now y'all are just, chummy." In her mind, she's insecure because she's like, okay, is she trying to get him back? Does he want her back?
Right.
Ma'am, I live in North Carolina. You live in Baltimore.
Let me add this though. It wasn't always this. Like, I didn't. Once Nevaeh got older, that's why I said the last few years. So when she got when she got 12, 13, maybe 14, like she had her own phone and all of that stuff. Like, then,
but see, that's what I'm saying. That whole she got her own phone, so
hold on.
But you still gotta touch base with the mama.
Hold on, though. I would still be like, when I come to, like, when I was just there, I bought us all lunch. We all sat down and had lunch together. I have never been like, I have never refused to spend time with her. I'm just saying the most time we usually spend together is about an hour, right? I'll be like, let's all go out to dinner or something. Maybe dinner will go maybe 2 hours. Maybe I'm just in my head, I think about an hour, right? But I'll be like, because I think it's important. I've always said this. I've told Nevaeh this. Like, it's important for you to see both of us together getting along fine and stuff. So I've always been that way. But as Nevaeh has gotten older, I've not had to involve her as much. Like, so when I go out there, I pick Nevaeh up. Nevaeh is with me for 5 days. We come back, and I see her mom in passing sometimes when we're coming back to the house. Here's another example. I was going to tell you this. So, like, that relationship that I was last in that ended a couple years ago, and we was together 3 years, I would stay with my kid's mom. I would stay at the apartment when I'd go out there sometimes for trips, depending on how budget-friendly money was. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying we ain't never had, like I said, my kid's mom probably, if she ever watched this, she gonna be like, I didn't even know this was a real thing. Right? Because, like, I was sitting in the car with that girlfriend. We had been dating maybe a couple months, and I was like, when I go out to Cali, the girls are gonna stay in her room, and I'm gonna stay in the girls' room, because every time I go to Cali, just the flight and the car alone is $1,000. That's before I spend any money on a hotel or anything else, right? And so I was like, I'm gonna stay the 4 or 5 days there. And she was like, you gonna stay with your baby mama? And now I'm understanding. I'm like, I understand why at first reaction that might take some people aback because of the world we live in. I said, but please understand this. Me and my kid's mom have a great parenting relationship. And that's not going to change. And if it takes, I don't know anybody who's working regular jobs like us that can spend $2,000 4 times a year to go out and see their kid every time. So I'm like, if it takes for me to have to stay with them to be able to go see my kid, then I'm going to do that. That's not going to change. You got to make a decision right now. You get out the car if you want. I was like, and I don't mean no disrespect. No, I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying that is not going to change. We get along just fine. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we don't talk all the time. Cause I was like, I had the ideal baby mama situation. She's 3,000 miles away. We not on the phone every day. She not calling me trying to get me back. I ain't messing with her. Right. Like, I had almost the ideal situation for somebody who's like, I don't want to date somebody with kids. You know what I mean? Right. And so we have not had no kind of beef, nothing like that. Like, we have spent holidays together, like Thanksgiving. Cadence' birthday is Christmas. We've spent Christmas together. I moved back out there when she was like, I need help with the kids, and stayed there and was working. I had a work from home job at that point and was there for about a year or whatever. Like, so like I said, in her mind, she probably doesn't even know that in the back of my head, I feel this way. What I'm saying won't happen is I feel like I could be chummy with the person and me and him do stuff, go fishing all day or something, but she not be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see me spending 5 hours with my kids' mom. Unless we doing a mutual, like it's Thanksgiving or we at graduation, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a,
no, like if like you went to California and the girls want to go to Disneyland, so she got to sit at home while y'all at Disneyland?
No, I'd be cool with that. I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm not creating the situations, right? Like, if I was like, So like if I'm like, yo, we going, like when we go out there, when I go for her birthday, I'm taking Nevaeh to Vegas, and then we come back, we're going to San Fran and Six Flags. If her mom want to come, she can. Like I'm just not.
But okay, and I get that, but for me, it shouldn't be if her mom wants to go, she can. I feel like something like that should automatically be the parents. It's her birthday.
That's a compromise that I feel like I'm making, right? Because I don't necessarily want her to come. I don't care if she does. So like,
but why wouldn't you want her to come?
And when we get off camera and I explain, you gonna understand. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is we don't have me and her. I love that she is my kid's mom because she loves my daughter and she loves Cadence. She's a great mom. Outside of that first year where we bumped heads a little bit about certain things with
that happens.
Right. And once we got through that, like we good. She can call me. Listen, it's happened. She can call me and be like, yo, can I have $100 until outside of child support? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, here, you can have it to next week. Or if I have it, you ain't got to pay me back, whatever. Like we are more than good. We probably have one of the better relationships I've ever seen two co-parents have to have. I'm just saying I'm not going out of my way to be like, yo, we got tickets for the opera and dinner at such and such. I can't even say that. I might would invite
and that's the thing. I'm not saying that you need to go out of your way, but I think that certain things as co-parents, when you have a child, need to be intentional. And you need to spend intentional time
and
together with your child.
Right. I used to be like, we need to go to dinner, do something so that she can see.
Yes.
I've always been that way. And it was more.
Well, two things can be true at the same time.
Right. It was more when she was younger. Now, like when I go, I'm like, we're going to San Francisco for the weekend. I'm not expecting her to come with us. That's where you are like, I'll be like, yo, you want to come too? I'm just not doing that. And I'm not hating or anything. I'm just going to spend time with my kid.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think every time you're around your child, the child's mother needs to be there. I'm just saying there needs to be intentional and there needs to be purposeful times where.
Yo, I didn't have to, where we spend an hour together. I didn't have to be there with her. Like I could have went. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't. There's no conscious decision in my head to avoid her. Right. Like I got there and it was like Nevaeh's not here yet, and I was like, well, I'll come sit in there with you, right? And I didn't be like, all right, if it takes longer than 15 minutes, I'm gonna just go to the store or something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's none of that. I'm just saying I don't go out of my way to plan time for us to spend together other than like lunches and dinners. Like when we were coming back, I was like, call your mom and see if she wants something. Like I'm considerate, right? I'm like, call your mom, see if she wants something. When she come home for a lunch break, we could all sit there and have lunch together.
Right.
And I got her food and everything like that. Like, so I'm just saying I'm not planning co-parent date nights and stuff. You know what I mean? Not date, but I'm not.
But see, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think about it as planning with the co-parent. It's just like
I think maybe it'd be different if we lived closer. Because I wouldn't be. I still wouldn't go out of my way, but then I know it would happen more frequently that we would spend more time together.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't do anything to impede that.
Right.
She'll call me and be like, yo, Grandpa, we're all going to the lake. Do you want to come? Yeah, I'll go. Like, I'm not, because that's good for my kid. Right. And
yeah, absolutely.
Hear me out. We do not get along. Like we get along.
Right.
We joke and laugh and all of that. I'm just.
Well, I think the biggest thing though with this is that when you said what you said in regard to that was the longest, like there are people out there that feel like And y'all comment. Y'all let me, maybe I'm just the weird one. You know what I'm saying?
No,
maybe I'm just the freak. But
I think you're
there
in a
are
good
people
space
out there that think that, you know, you should never talk to the other parent. You should never be around the other parent. If you're not together, then, you know, your kids are old enough. And all that's foolishness.
Listen, when the van is 18, I don't, wedding maybe. I don't know when the next time I'll talk to my kids.
And I'm gonna say this to you, and I hope my son doesn't get mad by putting his business out. So I have to let him know that I did it before he sees it. If he, you know, my son has a girlfriend, sweet girl, family is cool. My son wanted his father's his family to meet his girlfriend's family, right? Okay. Now, crazy thing is, my brother lives in Southern Maryland. Her father and his wife, which is not her mother, live in Southern Maryland, and her father and my brother live like 10 minutes away from each other, which is crazy, right? Right. Anyway, my son calls me up. Ma, I want to talk to you. What's up, son? 4th of July weekend coming up. I want both of the families to get together. I want my girls' family to get together to meet y'all and, you know, dad. And I said, okay, cool. I said, well, do you want, and I said, he was like, I talked to dad and I said, well, do you want Lorna? He like, yep, I want Lorna to be oh shit, I didn't say the girl name, but I want my I want my father's girlfriend to be there. I said, okay, cool. He like, all right. I said, listen, I'm cool with it. What my child wants is what my child gets, right? Oh yeah. She ain't want to go. The father, like, you know how embarrassing that is? Not for me, but for him. You understand what I'm saying?
Why
and
didn't
my son is 22.
Why she didn't want to go?
Well, let's just guess.
How long have they been dating?
7 years.
Oh, wow.
She never wants him to be around them. When our son went off for the Army.
Oh, wait. You're saying her dad's girl didn't want him to go.
No. My son's father's girl didn't want to go and didn't want him to go.
Right. Okay. I thought you meant your son's girlfriend didn't want to go. No. My bad. Okay. No. Oh, yeah. That's trash. That's crazy.
That's booty. When my son went off to the military, right? My son, I threw him a party. Sent him off to the military. I said she was more than welcome to come. She didn't come for whatever their reasons were. Now, my son ended up leaving, because, you know, the military don't tell you that you're leaving on a certain day, but they can call you and be like, yo, pack your stuff, it's tomorrow. Right. He ended up leaving like a day earlier than what we thought he was going to. We didn't even know that. Right. Now, it was already in the plans. Once my son left, his dad was like, okay, I'm going to spend time with my other son, my oldest son, and Trinity, because she looks at him as daddy too. Right. She was pissed. No, you need to come home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, I don't fault her all the way, because he listens to that BS.
Right. He could stand up to it.
He needs to stand up to it. But my thing is, as a mother, she's a mother.
They be like we said.
You're childish. A terrible mom, boo.
It's childish. That's why I wanted to make sure we was clear. Like, I don't actively participate in negative, like, those kind of things. I just don't go out of my way to talk, like, to call. I don't call her out of, like, unless it's got to do with Nevaeh. Like, and not, like I said, every once in a while I'll text her, or if I have, sometimes I call her because I couldn't get a hold of Nevaeh, you know what I mean? And I'm like, or when I see some shit, like right now they're dealing with a major storm and stuff. Like, I'll call, be like, are you and the girls okay? Like, right. Like, we good. Yeah. I'm just not planning co-parent nights. You know what I mean? Like,
but see, and I get that, but there are even times like I know I'm gonna be in Maryland, like we have family traditions that we used to do. I don't feel like because we split up that certain things that are important to the kids should stop. Like we're a big Fast and Furious family, right?
Right.
So any Fast and Furious that's come out, we've all seen together as a family.
Yeah, I'm still.
If I were to go back home and be like, "Oh, we were in town, Fast and Furious came," she would have a heart attack.
Right.
She would have a heart attack.
Right.
Why?
I don't.
Then
and
when
I don't
you
have
came
that
to my son's birthday party, you didn't even try to spend time with my son.
Right.
As soon as you got there, you left. You walked out and was like, "Oh, let's go play games," because it was, at like a kind of like a Dave and Buster's. And like your thing is, you just don't want him to have any interaction with me.
Right. That's
or
because that's
kids.
that jealousy, possession stuff.
And that's crazy.
Right.
And it's not just her. There are so many people out there that are like that. And I think that when you are having a blended family, when you are wanting to have a blended, you have to make sure that for the kids, there are certain things that stay consistent.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you're an insecure person, you don't need to have a blended family. You need to just find somebody that ain't got no damn kids.
I agree. 1,000%. 1,000%.
So that's my ending of it.
Yeah. See, what the person you're talking about is not me though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I know it wasn't you, brother. When you said though, an hour was like the longest. I'm like, because I feel like there are times like my daughter's father might come and be like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing? You good?" Like if somebody mess with me, like I could call me and be like, "Yo, somebody," and he like, I'm on the way.
She could too. She could too.
Right. So sometimes though we have those conversations that, we may be talking about what's going on in his family. There might be something going on with, his people that, so we have conversations. They're just not, disrespectful. They're not like, yo, I'm trying to, and there's sometimes Trinity will be talking to her dad. And
we do
might
too.
be like, where your mom at? Put her on the phone.
Look, this past week when I was just going through some stuff mentally, she texted me a few times. She's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'll be all right." Dad. She's like, "If you ever want to talk and stuff, like, promise you we good. I just don't go out of my way. I don't go out of my way to just be like, yo, let's spend extra time together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
and I'm not saying you have to go out of your way, so that's fine. I'm not. It just when you initially said it, it sounded as if
it sounds tough when I say we only spend about an hour or two. Like an hour or two is a long time to be spending with somebody. Like we acting like I'm talking about 5-10 minutes.
An hour is. Are you serious? Your lunch break goes like that?
Like I don't like if you're not.
Maybe once we have the conversation as to why it may open up my, open up my mind.
And then you gotta come on here and tell everybody. I understand why Sin said what he said.
Well, we'll see what it is. But and listen, at the end of the day, for me, with the whole blended thing, the only way that a blended family is going to work is if the adults can remain adults. Right. If you can take whatever issues that happen in the relationship and set them apart from what is in the best interest of the children. And I will say really quickly, one of the things that allowed me to continue to have the relationship that I have with my children, and I'm not saying that my kids is just saints and it's just, we go through stuff, but we have a very open relationship. And I really feel like part of the reason why we have that is that because they've seen how open I am with their fathers.
Right. That's good. Let me reiterate. My kid's mom is an amazing mom. And
she is not going to come kill you or anything.
I ain't scared of her. I'm just saying, like, let's calm down. Let's not get carried away here. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do the due diligence that I don't have to do and explain that she is an amazing mom.
Right.
And we get along great. I mean, we get along super fine, like super great. Like I said, I just don't go out of my way, and it's not even like it sounds negative, but it's not even a negative thing. Like we do things together if it comes up, and like she invites me to stuff, I go. Like it's not, you know.
So, brother, though, it wasn't that you said you didn't go out of your way, which makes it have negative. That didn't make it negative for me. It was when you said, you know, when I was there, we sat and we talked for about an hour. We were around.
What else?
That was the longest.
So
I'm like, what?
Like what? Like, and I ain't trying to be funny. I know you said that you and him talk about all kinds, but we don't. I'm not. We don't have those conversations. Like we not. Like I don't know what we would talk about for more than an hour. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. And we not beefing. I just don't. We just not.
Okay, well, two things can be true at once. You may not have to have 4-hour conversations to have a healthy co-parent relationship, but if you do, there's nothing wrong with that either. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to be with that person.
Right. I wouldn't get off the phone and be like, "Fucking hey, I'm not talking to her for 3 months."
Like it's been an hour. Bye.
Right. No, none of that. If she needed to call me right now, she knows she could call me. That ain't never been a thing.
Women, one of the things that I want women that are watching to take away, have an open mind, try to put yourself in that woman's shoes, especially if you're a mother, and what you would think would be best for your children. And even if you don't think it would be best for your child, every child is different and every child has different needs.
Should always be the children first.
Always.
It's crazy how everything we talked about played into from different aspects and everything played into it. So, but we're going to wrap it up with that. I want everybody to know that's the prettiest Tiff in the world right there. I'm your man, Carolina. This is the Love and Flaws podcast with Tiff and Sin. We appreciate y'all. We hope this was entertaining. So now me and Tiff about to have a heart-to-heart.
A powwow.
But we love y'all. Again, Love and Flaws podcast. Peace out.
Peace.